Hi, everybody. It's Christina West with Christina West Art. And today we're going to talk about art with meaning. And I've received so many emails and questions from my students and also from my YouTube channel, which I'm enjoying and just sort of getting started. So you can sign up and subscribe for more sort of multicultural, indigenous ways of knowing, shamanic, transformative arts and consciousness techniques in the realm of the arts, of the creative arts. This is a detail of my painting, Athena. It's beneficence. She's doing a mudra, and some years ago, when there was a lot of chaos in the world through politics and on social media, I knew that I needed to calm down. I needed to come back into my heart. I needed to have some equilibrium. And I used my meditations and journaling and my creative process to work this dilemma of how do I handle chaos that's in the world artistically? Can I do it? Will it help? Will it bring some relief? What could I do? And as I was thinking about all these details and dilemmas and paradoxes and conundrums and watching the demise of sort of common human decency in the online media space, I decided I was going to do a painting for my house. I was going to do a large painting for my house called Beneficence, and it's actually the goddess Athena, and she's doing a mudra. And I thought I'd show you a detail shot so you can think about ways you could do your art in different ways. I love jelly printing, mono printing, and I love working with color and braille. And so the first thing I did with this background is I just took this beautiful, deep alizarin crimson, mixed it with sienna on a white gessoed canvas and let the brayer move across the surface. And I'll switch the back image so you can see what the canvas looked like. And this is my studio in Santa Barbara, and this is the painting. This is the canvas, which is 4 feet. What is it? I think it's 3 by 4 feet or 3 by 5 feet. I do like sort of very tall and narrow canvases so I can do figures because I'm a figurative painter, but I'm also an abstract painter. And I wanted to do a painting that had as a background color sort of a fiery, dominant, powerful, energizing color. I didn't want this to be saccharine or sweet. I wanted it to be powerful and to remind me as a woman who I really am as a soul being on earth, as an individual. And I wanted other people who saw this image, not just women, of course, to remind themselves of men, perhaps of their inner female strength, and women to activate their inner strength. So I've been teaching men and women's groups since the early 90s, doing gender reconciliation and deep emotional release work, personal development through shamanic techniques, psychological, cross-cultural, artistic, and ritual. And it's deeply, deeply transformative. So I thought I'd start doing a series now this year in 2025 of some of the more hidden aspects of my work that you might only hear about in a group. So this is just having a palette. I use a big 16 by 20 plastic palette that has, 40 sheets or 30 sheets, and you rip off when you're done and you've messed up all your paints and you're done with it. You crumble it up and throw it away. And that actually works best for me because I like working big. And for this was just one color. So just so you know, I mix the color. But it's just one color with with a 6-inch brayer. And it's one roll across, and some have two rolls across, but many have just one roll across. And I just leave it the way it is. And on my left shoulder, that big blurb, that lovely sort of ink blot, that's from the brayer. That's from using the brayer. And it's how the paint hit the brayer when I first put the paint on and the brayer, and I just let it have half that brayer, that blotty shape, and just roll it across the canvas and let it be. And so that's what you get with brayer work. You already get within 5-10 minutes, you've got a fabulous background. And of course you can layer this up, but this just starts this vlog with the background for Athena, the beneficence, the goddess who is blessing my house. I'm going to change the back. And this is a mudra, which is called the blessing mudra. And it was taken offline just so I could use how to draw that as an artist, how to do that sort of curve. It's coming towards the viewer, a very difficult foreshortening technique, but I was determined to do this. And now you can see this background a little bit clearer because I've changed the image so you can have a better detail. That you see there's gold. So I had a beautiful metallic gold that I mixed with this because I wanted to bring the gold that you see in the wonderful old medieval art. Now, there's a little esoteric secret for you. Those golden auras behind the saints and behind in Hindu and Christian and actually all the saints, you see some sort of halo. That's actually our beautiful astral sheath that's moving in myriads of shapes and colors around us all the time. And artists sort of settled on gold because they actually did see gold around a personage of high moral, and there's that word, strength. Someone who has purified their bodies, their spiritual bodies, their physical body, their astral body, their etheric or life body, and Atma Buddhi Manas, which is found cross-culturally in all sacred traditions. So that's why I threw the gold in. I just wanted to remind the viewer, what's that? Oh, there's something else going on here, okay? And of course, the Alamy is a watermark, which you're not supposed to use or download. And here is a close-up of the hand, and I'll have to show you the entire painting so you can see what the hand looks like. But I was working in a deep blue, this gorgeous, almost a phthalo blue, Prussian blue, with cobalt mixed in, because I wanted the quality of deep reverence. And I'm a colorist, and I've worked in the spiritual arts and consciousness my entire life. And in color theory, Goethe's color theory and the theory of color that they use in art and healing, mental health healing, blue is a very quiet, receptive color. Blue goes out to the periphery, all the way out, and you can sink into blue. And it is really spiritually coherent, meaning it's true and lawful that all clairvoyants who see blue know it's the color of purity. And depending on the various shades of the blue, will reflect the person's aura, how realized they are and how much farther they've got to go for realization will be in the sort of muddiness of the blue. So I wanted a real strong blue, and that's gold, metallic gold. And this is just sort of the underpainting. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do as a design for her dress. And I settled on a circle, sort of a deco sort of idea. So I'm going to go back to my other background so you can see the detail work. But I thought I could just switch these backgrounds for you as we go along in the vlog, and we see how this painting starts from the beginning, the idea, and why I did it. Because the reason this came into being was because I knew I needed to balance. And I wanted a painting in my house, which was over my altar for 2 years. And she blessed the house and everybody that came in it. And as a practicing shaman, I've learned many, many, many many techniques in the trainings with indigenous shamans to empower a piece of art. So this painting is an empowered painting, and it is a painting for peace, for equilibrium, for resilience, for balance. Okay, and now I'm going to go back to the detail. Okay, so this is the background with the hand, and I was working on some of the design. As many of you know, I've had Sunheart Boho Clothing for over 20 years online, my fashion shop, which I am now integrating my work with empowering women that I've done my whole life into my clothing line because the world needs some strength and courage right now. So you see the sun emblem in the hand, right? And the sun is an emblem of a spirit, deep spiritual power and strength and inner radiance. And my clothing business is actually called Sun Heart Boho Clothing. And it is really one of the prayers that every human being will have a sun rise in their heart. And through that inner sun that rises in our heart will birth harmony. So that's why the mudra for me in this beneficent blessing, I did the sun. And you can see on her arm that was the underpainting because I was going to go over that with the details of little tiny squiggles and things using different brushes and pens. And you see her chin, how strong she is. That is actually the mask of Athena. And I have a Zoom meeting in 2 minutes that I have to go to, so I'll be back. Hi, everybody, I'm back, and this is the finished painting. I'll show you the full-length painting in the final clips, but I thought I'd show you what I ended up doing with the arm. And because these images are very, very big, and I didn't take them into Photoshop to make them smaller, like 55 inches in width. So, but you get to see at least what I did. I came up with the blue and gold, and I actually created texture on the arm because I'm a fashion designer after all. And I used other kinds of gold to burnish the textural embellishment on the arm. And I only did it on the arm and on the neckline. Some of the finished patterns, which is a beautiful gold. And those are, they're not magic markers, but they are markers, and they're metallic markers. And when you use markers, you want to really make sure, because this is the final frontier of your layering system. This is the very top, and you don't want to mess up at this point. And I used a see-through ruler and did the lines so they were straight for the final design element. I added looks like little eyes. They actually look like owls all over her, which was a tip of the hat to the goddess Athena, whose helmet has the owls on it as her power animal or familiar. So this is the final image, and this is an introduction to art with meaning, creating a powerful, prayerful, blessing portrait adventure into saying, I can't take any more of this sort of social media chaos. I have to limit how much I can take in and where I want to put my energy, because it was too much for me. And it's too much right now as well. And I thought I would do this. This was, I think, done in 2019, this painting. I never quit painting. I don't show them a lot because especially now that they're scraping all our images and stealing them. But you get an idea. I've been a life drawer since day one and a fashion design illustrator. So I did illustration for magazines and for fashion in Ventura County, where I grew up. I have a very junior look, I'm told, for the young at heart. Okay, so I hope that gives you an idea of the use of using a brayer for a quick background and a real punchy background, by the way. I love it and I still love it. And it's 2025 and I still love it. So it does have longevity and it's a really walloping color field. And you've got the blessing mudra. And there's a lot of research behind this painting. And the research is part of what I absolutely love about doing a painting like this. But I thought I would just leave this short and brief so you can consider doing a power portrait or a blessing portrait for your space. And what would that look like? What would be the colors if it was a portrait? What would be the gesture? That was one of the most important questions before I started. What is the gesture of the image of the goddess? What is the gesture that I can live with, that I want to live with, that I long to live with? And there you have it, Athena. Thank you so much. Remember, Christina West Art is Kristena, Christina West Art. And I have the YouTube, I have Facebook, and I have lots and lots of classes available. So this is Christina West. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Thanks so much. Let's get creative.